Inner Space Retreat Center. Situated in Chongwe, about 12.1 kilometers from the Lusaka International Airport roundabout, lies Inner Space Retreat Center. Inner Space, like the name suggests, is an ideal sanctuary for Christians from all denominations looking for a spiritual retreat to connect with God. The retreat center offers that quiet place required for meditation in a peaceful and tranquil environment away from the busy city life. The retreat center is perfect for church retreats and camp meetings, as it comes equipped with a chapel with a 750 seating capacity. The place has vast lawns large enough for setting up of tents. However, for those who prefer indoor comfort, the retreat center has 12-room accommodation facilities with a standby generator set for that home away from home feel.
Just like you walk the streets of Galilee, and like you heal the sick and you raise the dead, Jesus, like you said, Lazarus, come forth, you are doing the same today. You are doing the same today.
Life gets busy, but it is important for every Christian to find time for spiritual reflection and inspiration.
Father, we pray that you watch over your word and do it. Heavenly Father, we continue now to pray for ourselves even as we'll be partaking of the Holy Communion. We also pray for the Reverend as he'll be giving us a brief or an exhortation. Father, we pray for the Reverend and pray that you may give him a word in season, a word which will help each one of us to walk out of here remembering that we have met our God. Father, hear us. These prayers we ask because we pray in the blessed name of the Lord Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. Amen. Amen.
Holy words, Lord, preserve for our walk in this world. There is none with God's heart, or let the ancient word impart. Words of life, words of hope, give us strength, help us cope in this world wherever we roam. Ancient words will guide us. Ancient words, ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open heart. Oh, let the ancient word impart. Holy words of our faithful word. Holy words, Lord, preserve. Holy words, Lord, preserve for our walk in this world. There is sound with God's on high. Oh, let the ancient word impart. Ancient words, ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart. Ancient words, ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart.
Truly, the United Church of Zambia has programmed that each year her members as individuals, her members as families, as congregations, as consistories, they are given time to be in the presence of God, away from their routine programs. This arrangement, fellow believers, helps us to reflect back and see where we've come from. It helps us to understand where we are, our levels, our status, and also where we wish to be in our Christian journey. Realizing how great our God is and how faithful He has been to us this far. And considering what we have been going through in our lives, we chose to retreat in this place with our Lord Jesus Christ. We have chosen to come to a place where we will not be disturbed. Like the footballers, when faced with pressure, they also withdraw in order to rebuild the game from behind and go forward with the aim of scoring. In every life practice, you need time to withdraw. We hear even our national leaders, including the president, they withdraw from their busy schedules and go to isolated places like in Mfue to reflect on what they've been doing. In other words, congregation, we come to retreat, to replan. We come to retreat to regain the strength. We come to retreat to re-strategize our Christian journey. This is the time to energize ourselves for the mission of our Lord Jesus Christ. A time for a new and strong beginning.
The minister who is now going to stand before us, and this is no other than the Reverend Royce Mutembo Siuluta. The Reverend Siuluta is not very new to this congregation.
Says I should do. It shall stand before me and against me on the day of judgment. Bless me, Lord. Hallelujah. Tell your neighbor, this is Reverend Siuluta. Indeed, is our Ebenezer. There is a point, there is a stone behind you, telling you to say, is a God who saved you. I'm humbled. Once again, I would like to greet you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Say good morning. Regards from my family. I'm a mother of 3 boys. That's why I'm happy to call myself as one mother, the only woman in the house. Join her. I've been given a topic to share. When I was alone, I was trying to reflect upon this topic. Indeed, He is our Ebenezer. I had a question to myself. I said, God, what is it that you want me to minister? You are telling us to say, indeed, you are Ebenezer. Are you telling us to say this gathering, bringing us together here? We want to make that assurance. That really God has brought us this far. The topic on its own, I thought it maybe it is an agreement. Indeed, it's our Ebenezer. To Jesus, I surrender.
And those who visited Inner Space Retreat Center had this to say about their experience at the center.
Being in those places where our churches are, there are a lot of distractions. So we need to keep away from our homes. This is the place where we need to keep away from things like televisions, keep away from things like switch off the cell phones. Yes, at least you switch off everything and just focus on God Himself. But when you stay in those places, like the church, there are a lot of distractions. The child may come here and say they want this and that. So your concentration will not be up to date. So you come here to keep away from every disturbance. You don't need no other entertainment but prayer alone. We've come here to seek the presence of God. So we are concentrating not on ourselves, but concentrating on God Himself. So that is the purpose of our coming here.
Inner Space is an ideal retreat center because it affords you, it's got serene gardens where you can sit and enjoy the quietness, and it's far away from noises, and you get to, just the gardens are beautiful. You can be alone and spend time with God. The environment is very ideal for retreating because it's so quiet here. You can focus and you can be able to, also the facilities that they have here are very, very good facilities for retreating. So I'd encourage Christians out there, please visit Inner Space, come and retreat. It's an ideal place for retreat. You'll never be disappointed.
It's quite some place indeed, because it is a cool place, a place well looked after, and a place which is revealing to a Christian who wants to be in a quiet space, because we have a whole lot of issues, especially us who live in the town centers. All the noise is there, all the singing is there, all the traffic is there. Surely it's never possible that you can get closer to your Lord in a situation of that kind. Therefore, hence the leadership of Trinity Congregation under the stewardship of Reverend Emmanuel Walia and the reverends that have passed through Trinity have ended up using these premises for retreat. I will not shy away by urging all the Christians out there to follow the Trinity Congregation method of coming to praise their Lord, to be closer to their Lord by coming to this place. Come and see for yourself. The Lord will be nearer to you, to your family, to your office, and to your business. You are most welcome to this place.
The reason why Inner Space was chosen as a venue, which has always been the venue for the last couple of years, is because of its sanctity. It's far away from the noise. It gives you a good sense of feeling of being in a garden setup. Here you are not disturbed by any sort of noise other than the singing and the praying and glorifying God. So it's a perfect choice that the executive of the church decided to settle upon, as it gives one enough room and time, space as well, to reflect on the life and then to appreciate God's goodness in our lives.
This place where we are at, Inner Space, it's a very quiet place, tranquil place. It's the perfect place where you can find that perfect moment when you want to be with just you and your God. The place is serene, the area is quiet, it's away from the hustle and bustle of the CBD. It's the area is the greens, just looking at the surroundings, it's peaceful. It gives you that peace, just like the name says, inner space. It really, really takes you to that inner space because it's just that perfect, serene place.
And the reason why Inner Space is a good place to be It's away from the hustle and bustle of Lusaka, the traffic. It's in a good environment, it's quiet. The place is nice, it's pleasant to the eyes, the environment, the accommodation is good. Even just the space itself is a good place. It's a good place to be. I would encourage people to retreat so that they can refuel, re-energize themselves, and inner space is a place they can come for that quiet time.
When you sit in a quiet time, you remember Elijah was waiting for the wind, and he says in the wind God was not there, but there was that still silent voice. And you come to a place like inner space. Inner space is a place that I think has been it's just meant for that. The inner space really is a place where we come in, it's serene, it's quiet, it's cool, and it's out of town, not too far away to go, but enables you, gives you that atmosphere of somewhere where we can reflect and relax.
The inner space is out of town of Lusaka, and our congregation comes so close to the city. Trinity is along Church Road, and being away from the usual surroundings helps us, and the inner space gives us this ambience of quietness away from the hustle and bustle of town, and including our own environments at home. So this allows us to feel at home, but not really in your own surroundings. So we are grateful for this place that we can come away from our homes, and yet not too far, but near enough for all of us to make it and come and spend a weekend reflecting on our call.
Inner Space Retreat Center is a good place for them to come and retreat. It's a quiet place. It's also a very tidy place. When you have huge numbers like our church has a lot of people, they have good facilities in terms of toilets, showers, they have good rooms, and also opportunities to have even the catering. There's space for doing good catering, there's good water. And so the place is serene. You have very serious greens around, and it's a good place. We've been meeting here for some time now as a church, partly because of the fact that we recognize that it's a good place for people to just take time as individuals. There's enough space, it's quite big, so every member is able to find some place around the greens where they can sit and reflect on what God has done for them.
This is my wife Rebecca, my daughter Jada, and my son Lovinda. We're so glad to be here at this retreat, and we feel that a retreat is very important, especially for community and spiritual growth, and also reconnecting with fellow Christians in our church. And from my standpoint, my parents were married in this church, and I feel a very strong connection, and it's been so nice meeting people who I haven't seen in a long time.
So why should people come to
Our retreat center, it's a beautiful setting. It's very green. It's very welcoming. The ambience and the landscaping is brilliant, and it's so beautiful to be here.
How about the other churches?
Well, with other churches, I think all I'd advise them is that to maintain a community, we have to have a retreat, because having a retreat brings us together, and being in one place, one location, enables an exchange of ideas and also exchange stories about spirituality, the struggles that we're going through, and how we can overcome them.
I've been to other places for retreats and camps. I think as a church we used to go to Kasaka, but the inner space is very unique and beautiful because it's got well-designed chalets, very nice rooms, state of the art, and just the way it's been designed, the combination of the engineering structures together with the natural beauty of the place gives it that serene environment where meditation and reflection is very conducive. And in other words, the retreat area here at the inner space is very conducive for someone who wants to spend some time alone without disturbance. It's just off the road, on the Chongwe Road, but as you come here, it is really a very wonderful place.
As believers, we need time to reflect on what God has been doing in our lives. You just have to find time to pause, and try to hear from God. Pray about issues in your life and allow God to just minister to you. And this is the place where we usually come and have our quiet time. We've enjoyed being here, such a wonderful and marvelous environment. So as a church, as Trinity, we enjoy being here. As you can see, the environment is so good. We pitch up our tents and come as a Trinity family. And I've also seen other churches that also come here. So I encourage everybody who has the chance to retreat to come and use this environment.
The inner space is a quiet place where usually the church comes here to reflect, to have time, to have quiet time. There's the inner peace. It's a quiet, no disturbance with traffic or daily activities at home or at work. So we would encourage others to find time to go to retreat. That's like Jesus used to do. He used to retreat. He would go to the mountain, he would go to a quiet place to reflect on his life, on his mission here on the earth and so forth. So we as believers, we do the same. So this could be a useful place for others to come to.
I just want also to appreciate this environment. It's an environment that cools you down. Away from the noise of the city. You're relaxing freely. On the lawn, under a tree, just birds singing in the air. You feel like you are somehow in Eden. So I think it is very important. Christians should always take this opportunity to attend such occasions, to retreat with fellow Christians.
We are here out in Chongwe at this wonderful venue, Inner Circle, where the reason why we decided to be here is because, one, it's out of town. We have everything. The environment is good here, just like a town. Electricity, water, running water. There's even accommodation for those who don't want to sleep in tents. We're provided with accommodation. So I think for me, I think I've built up a bit on my Christian values and life as we have encountered these 3 days here at Chongwe in our second retreat.
Why we chose the inner space is because it is out of town, it's quiet. Our phones are normally when we're in town, we normally concentrate on phones and other things, but here it's quiet. Out of town, we concentrate and reflect so to account for your deeds here on earth.
As a congregation, we have chosen to isolate ourselves and come to the Inner Space Retreat Center. It's a place that we've chosen because it's conducive, away from the busy district, away from our usual Trinity congregation, and we didn't want to say business as usual, because we meet at church every Sunday for our normal church services. But when it comes to retreat, the retreat is a time we need to go to a solitary place. We need to go to a place full of tranquility, a place where we communicate with our God. Indeed, every year, after our busy schedules, we need to take stock of ourselves. How do we do it? You need an environment which will provide for such. Tranquility is very, very important, because it's the time we review our lives. How far have we gone with what we want to do? How far has the Lord helped us? And if there's need And if there is need to talk to God and ask God to direct us, this is the time that we take for retreat. Indeed, it's the time to pray. Indeed, it's the time to reconnect with our Lord Jesus Christ. It's the time that we meet as families, as individuals, and as a congregation, and chart our way forward. It's the time that we need to review ourselves. It's the time that we need to look at what we want to achieve as a church. Therefore, Inner Space Retreat Center has always been our home away from home, because the center provides for the needs. Yeah, it meets our needs because first of all, the distance from the usual Trinity district is so overwhelming that when we come here, we forget about everything, forget about our daily routines, and we come here to concentrate on our God, concentrate on reviewing what we are supposed to do. Indeed, it's the time to commune and communicate with our God and ask God to direct and redirect us in the manner that is pleasing to Him. I think that's what I can say. But all in all, we love this place, Inner Space Retreat Center, because it meets our needs.
Inner Space is a very ideal place. I would encourage you to come and visit this place. It has got, the space is quite huge for a number of, it can take a number of people. They can find time to retreat. The gardens, and also there is also the chapel where people can gather, be preached about, and they've got accommodation here. It's a very ideal place, quiet place, away from the noise, so it's an ideal space for retreat.
How do phones distract us from retreat? One at a time, using hands. How do phones distract us from having those spaces? YouTuber.
Okay, so if you will be going down, so if number 2 messes out, number 2 goes out and you won't have the retreat. If you are not yet done, okay? So 1, 2, 3, yes. Huh? They don't try, they get out.
please. Why you cannot sit? You cannot sit.
For spiritual motivation, think Inner Space Retreat Center for that divine connection with God closer to nature.